let's get into some music, and that is of our guest tonight, who is Sarantos, who is a songwriter, singer, and songwriter, and we would like to definitely welcome Sarantos onto the show. Hello, Sarantos. How are you?
Hey, Crystal. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Now, before we get into you, have you seen Empire?
I have. I'm actually hooked on it. I think it's a great show, but I was listening to your intro. Please don't tell me what happens, because I have not seen last night's episode yet.
Oh, my God. Okay, I won't say anything. And don't listen. Okay, well, I won't mention. Okay. Yes, it's amazing. Okay.
Yeah, I have it TiVo'd. It's on my to-do list for later tonight, so I'm definitely going to watch it. It's a great show.
Thank you. Hello, Dre. What the hell is
all right. Okay, all right. I'll check it out. You know what, man?
Well, first of all, hello, Sarantos. Thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
Oh, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Now, I have visited your site, and I have visited your YouTube page and your main site, and you just have some really amazing music. I mean, really amazing. And I love, and I told you this when I talked with you, because I love the whole, the stories you tell, in your music. Tell us about where your inspirations come from your music.
I'd like to think that they come from almost anywhere, and I can't tell you that there's any one place where they come, because each song's a little different. So one song I might be inspired to write because of my father. Another one I might be inspired to write because I turned 30 years old and I was kind of depressed that day. So all over the place. I mean, I go to the gym, I work out, I get inspired, I hear a song, one word from it inspires me to write a whole different song. So it's all over the place.
Okay. Now, how long have you been doing this music biz?
So I have been I launched January of last year, 2014, but I've been doing it my whole life, and it's something I've always wanted to do. So I'm glad to finally officially launch it and keep doing it every month and putting out new music, new videos, and just interacting with the fans. It's been a blast.
Okay. All right. Now, how would you categorize your music? Now, do you consider it pop or folk, or how would you categorize your music?
I think if I had to pick, it's kind of a cross between a couple of genres, probably pop and rock. So One way that's been described as pop rock, probably the way I describe it, if I had more than two words to describe it, I'd probably say it's a combination of 80s rock mixed with today's modern pop and rock music.
Okay. Now, I know a lot of your music is very motivational. Can you tell me about, like, I read on here that you do contribute a lot of your music to charity. Tell us about that endeavor.
Yeah, absolutely. My main mission musically is to try to release my music to the world, and obviously everything is downloaded for free on my website. They can share it on social media, email, whatever they want. So the main goal is to share it all over the world because I just want it heard. My second goal is I'm trying to donate a third of profits from every single song to charity. So I've picked a different charity for each song. Yeah. And if you look at Not Where I Want to Be, that was the first song released. The song basically is about someone who's a little depressed. He's turning 30, and the double meaning to the song I thought related really well to cancer, because I don't think cancer is where anyone wants to be. So the charity for that is American Cancer Society. And that's kind of what I've done with each song, is I've tried to think the lyrics mean one thing, the video means one thing, but what do I want to dedicate the charity to? And a lot of it, too, recently has come from fan interaction. So I'm very open to suggestions. If someone has a charity they recommend, I definitely would try to fit it in because I'm looking to do this for the long haul.
And definitely I can relate to the Cancer Society. They do great things to help many people. The treatments are very expensive, and the support that they give the people who have cancer is amazing. So definitely, it's great. So I think that's amazing for what you do. Now, tell us about, I see that your music is kind of a fusion of classic 80s rock. Now, tell us about the 80s. Did you love it?
I love 80s music, everything from Michael Jackson, Survivor, Def Leppard, any kind of pop or rock from the 80s.
Wow.
I definitely love it, and I'm influenced by it to a very big degree. And each song, again, some songs people, usually what I'll do when I release a song, get some reviews, I'll put it on Reverb Nation and see what other people think about it. Some of the musicians think, oh, that sounds like classic Beatles. That sounds like, so it's kind of interesting to see the mix. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to sound like any one artist.
Sure. Right.
That's a broad spectrum. Because, that's like you went from Michael Jackson to Survivor, which is kind of in the middle, and then to Def Leppard on the other end. That's a
it really is. And I think that's what's unique about me, in that what I've always wanted is, when I listen to music, I don't want it to all sound the same. So I decided when I was going to make music, I would do the same exact thing. I don't want people to say, oh, look, there's another Katy Perry song or Taylor Swift song. I want them to know my sound and my voice, but I don't want to sing always the same way or to have the same drums, the same guitar on every song. I don't want people to be like, oh, there's another pop hit or a radio hit. I want to be different, and I don't want people to get bored of me. So that's what I'm doing intentionally.
Do you write any, do you play instruments, or when you record, do you have live musicians?
So the way that I typically start the process, all the lyrics are my own, and usually what I'll do is I'll create everything on the computer. So there's a project on the Macintosh called Logic. Pro Tools is the other big one that people use, and I'll lay down the melody, the chords, and I do not consider myself an instrumentalist. So I can screw around on the synthesizer and pretend I play the drums and the guitar and everything, but I don't consider myself musically gifted. So once I put it all together and I do all the vocals, then what I will do is hire work for session musicians. So I'll hire someone who's great at drums or guitar, and they'll mimic what I've done, as well as obviously they can give some input, and we might tweak things a little bit. And then I have someone who helps me mix and master it as a final stage. So everything that you see and hear is done not in a professional studio. It definitely is indie music.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Now, the other day I watched your video, We Accept the Love, and it was kind of hilarious. I was like, hey, this is my life. Get out of my head. So tell us about that video. It seems like, are those your friends and stuff that you got together, or those actors? Because it seemed like a fun
actors.
video. Okay.
Sure. My music videos are the same exact thing. I don't want to do, when I look at music videos that I like, personally, I think no one really wants to sit there and see a singer or singers just staring into the camera singing. To me, I want it to have a story. I'm all about the lyrics in my videos. I want them to all be about the story. So when you look at some of the videos, like I Love to Love You Too, even some of the videos that people think, oh, there's not much of a story, there is a story. And for that one, I've done a couple that I attempt to be very humorous. So that one I thought would be a perfect fit for just making a really funny video. And probably the hardest thing for me is the music videos, not just in terms of the financial commitment, but also trying to find actors, actresses, people to play the parts. And probably the thing I look forward to the most is if I ever make it or be able to have more of a budget, I can really create what I have in my head. So at this point, being an indie artist, you're trying to do things as cheaply as possible and still trying to make it funny or get your point across. But it's a challenge.
Okay. So tell us where we can find your music and where we can take a look at your videos and take a look and download your music.
Absolutely. So the main website is melogia.com, which is www.melogia.com. And in Greek, that means with words. So since I'm all about the lyrics, I thought that was a cool website name. And they can definitely, there's links to my Google page to watch all my music videos on YouTube. There's links to Facebook, Twitter. They can sign up for my email list where they get all the inside information on what's happening before everyone else. So, for example, last year, my email list kind of knew that I was going to surprise everyone and release a Christmas CD, which no one else knew about. And there's free instrumental tracks. There's all sorts of perks to being on the email list, too.
All right, great. All right, so what we're going to get into now is called A Child's Mind. Can you tell us about that particular song?
Sure. A Child's Mind is the one that I just released this month. It's actually, I kind of put myself into when I look at myself growing up, all these years, everybody kind of says, I have the mind of a child. And I never was insulted with that because I always took it as a compliment. And I think when you look at society and adulthood and the educational system, they kind of try to beat it out of you. Not literally, of course, but we're taught to not be as creative as we are as kids. You know, when you're a kid, you're innocent. You have this zest for life. You have something that I think we should always hold on to as adults. Maybe not 100% of it. So that's kind of where the song goes. And to me, I think the video is kind of also a cool little video about someone who immigrated from Europe. This country is filled with a lot of immigrants from all over the place. And it tells a story of someone who gave behind their childhood. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thanks you so much, Sarantos, for coming on to the show. And guys, we're going to get into A Child's Mind, and make sure that you go and check him out on SoundCloud. Check him out on his website, which will be posted on our site here as well. Thank you so much, Sarantos, for coming on.
Thank you, Crystal and Joe. You guys have a great night.
You too. All right, now we're going to get into A Child's Mind. We'll be right back.
As a child, I was so young and free.